Hey there, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign people. We're going to go into the month of May 2023, where things to do with real estate, land, property, rentals, pets, and even dating can be really auspicious for you. It's going to give you a real glow up in those areas of your life. And let's get started. But before we do, if you're new to my channel, I am Lori Lothian, a whole sign house astrologer. I'm using the Western tropical zodiac, love asteroids, and fixed stars. You'll learn a lot about those if you decide to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications, because I put somewhere between 24 and 30 videos out every month, and you'll get a lot of learning in those videos. For this video today, before we start, I should remind you that I'm teaching my Sky Reader class starting on May the 5th or 6th or 7th. It's Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life. Learn how to read your own astrology chart and learn some really cool ancient timing tools in a live class with me for 7 weeks every Saturday. You'll have replays, a Q&A coaching call every week, homework assignments you can share on the Facebook group, and more. If that kind of thing interests you, this is the last time I may be teaching the class. And so if you want to jump in and not do it as a self-study down the road and have live support from me and an assistant, then please join in and see the description box for all the enrollment details. Let's get started and talk about what's going on for you in the month of May. Now, every 12 years, Jupiter enters into the sign of Taurus. And this is a month that he does it this time. He's moving into Taurus on the 16th of May. It's going to open up a really sweet time for you to do with all things to do with home, property, and land. And you're going to love and enjoy your home life in the next year more than ever. This lasts until the 24th of May next year. It tends to bring prosperity when Jupiter moves through the fourth house, especially for money that comes from legacy wealth. Now, we say legacy wealth, yes, we mean inheritance money. It can be money that comes through the family of origin, family system stuff, but it can also be other kinds of eighth house money that's pulled forth for you. Sometimes it can be a great investment in the stock market, but that would be investing in like things to do with precious metals, most likely. Other ways that money can show up with Jupiter here is spousal support, alimony, and all of that, or money from your spouse or your significant other, and you're sharing in those resources together. Jupiter here just brings luck in things to do with your home. So often people with this transit will find themselves purchasing a home, moving to a better home, expanding their home. So Jupiter makes everything larger. So if your home is small, it's going to get bigger. Whatever you're doing in and from your home brings prosperity. Like I'm an astrologer, I work and teach from home. So I'll be more prosperous than I usually am in and from my home with whatever I do in and from my home. You may find that a teacher like Jupiter can live with you. And so, mid-May this year, you may have a teacher come live with you. Now, it doesn't have to be your teacher, it could just be a teacher, right? Like someone who teaches. There's this guy that I know who's doing satsangs, 2 guys I know who do satsang and spiritual teaching. And I may say, oh, you need a spare room, you can come stay with me or something. So these kinds of vibes can happen, like teaching in the home, teaching from the home, teachers in the home. Are kind of coming up for you over the next 12 years. You want to go back 12 years ago and check out when Jupiter was in Taurus, you might get a vibe of how that worked for you way back when. And then you can like, oh, look, I sold a house, I sold a triplex back then, I made a lot of money. So I was prospering from real estate the last time Jupiter went through the fourth house and I sold my triplex building. Okay, so the other idea here I want to bring into the story is that Mercury is also in Taurus. So Mercury is where Jupiter is arriving, and Mercury has been here for a while. This is a very long, rare transit of 2 months of Mercury through your Taurus zone. When Jupiter is here, he brings expansion and luck, and Mercury brings deals, negotiations, and contracts. Also, commerce and prosperity financially. So we got all of these good things happening. But before Jupiter gets here on May 16th, we have to talk about the retrogradation of Mercury. April 21st through to about the 14th of May, Mercury is retrograde in your fourth house. Now, fourth house is homeland. You may go back and visit your family of origin, the homeland, your home country, your hometown. Mercury retrograde goes back over old ground. You may go back and renegotiate something to do with property, land, real estate, or leases, because it sextiles the house of tenancies. Things to do with hearing back from people from your childhood, old friends, childhood friends, people from the past, can be Mercury retrograde. during this time. And then that turns around and no longer is true. So on the 14th of the month, Mercury moves direct. And of course, on the 16th, Jupiter joins him. So as soon as we get that combination of things going on, your all systems go for buying, selling, contracts and agreements for your property, real estate and home, either buying or renting. And things are really auspicious after that. I like Mercury here a lot. Like I would like to use him, right? I wouldn't want to let him go to waste. So then therefore, think about the 16th, Jupiter, Mercury there, Mercury direct, the 16th of the month of May through to June 11th, when Mercury is still in your fourth house, as being a highly good, opportune, fortunate time where all things real estate are involved, or property, whether you're renting or buying. Now, the other thing about that is that if you do get a spiritual teacher in your life that's going to, be influential, Mercury would be a time, Mercury Jupiter could be a time of communications and talking and messaging with that teacher or something like that. Or you're the teacher, you're doing a lot of messaging back and forth from your home, but in a positive and direct way. All right, let's keep going and talk about more things about this month ahead. Venus is moving out of her longer stay in Gemini and into the sign of Cancer, where she's going to be gallivanting about for quite a while. She'll move into the sign of Cancer on May the 7th and be there until around June the 5th. When she's in Cancer, she's nurturing, she's loving, she's tender, she's affectionate, she values security and food and comfort. And she's going to do this in your house of animals and pets that you can bring into your home. And for some of you petless ones who are Aquarius rising, it could be about a new pet or some positive things going on with the pet you already have. This is a house of dating. If you were a single Aquarius, then you could go into a new dating direction with somebody that's Venus and Cancerian, which is like to be a very nurturing, affectionate dating person, partner. If you are looking at renting a property, May 7th to June 5th, renting out your property or renting a property for yourself, Venus will give you an incredible opportunity during this transit. And it will be blessed because of Jupiter also in your fourth house after the 16th. Therefore, you can simply say the 16th of May through to June the 11th, especially auspicious for property rental storylines. To some degree, purchase as well, but less so. Venus is in a work house. This is the work you do, and it's your health. So Venus every year goes through here and improves the health of the Aquarius rising people. Often your health is digestive issues, to pay attention to your digestion and stuff like that. But when Venus is going through, and sometimes your hormone balance, but mostly digestion with Cancer energy. And as Venus is going through your sixth house, you are healthy, basically. All health problems are fixed and all as well. Female healers, female, doctors, nurses, healers, or chiropractors, acupuncturists play a strong role every time Venus goes through this part of your sky. So look for that as a possibility. I can think I got to go back to my acupuncturist. So I, as an Aquarius rising, may go back and see her. I love her. She's amazing during this transit and get myself acupuncture. Alrighty, or chiropractor, who's also a woman. Let me think about anything else I might have missed. If you have debts you want to pay off, Venus is a goddess of money and a house of indebtedness. So it's a great opportunity to chunk down some debt if you have any outstanding loans or anything like that, or some loan or money. I have a girlfriend who owes me money, like $3K, and never paid it back. It's very possible that that money will pop back to me during this Venus transit. So every year somebody owes me money, especially a woman, could suddenly say, I owe you money, I'm going to give it back to you. So funny enough, this did happen to me one time during this transit. A girlfriend owed me $1,000, and during the Venus in my sixth house, she suddenly said, check your bank account. I put the money, I interacted you the money. So sent you the money. So yeah, that happens. Venus here can bring money back to you during this transit, especially from females, okay? Anything else about that? Well, Venus exalts your earnings house, right? And this is a work house that she's moving through. So your earnings, the prosperity, the money that you're pulling into your sky starting May 7th through to June 11th, this is going to be up leveled a bit here with this Venus transit. It's funny, on May 7th, I'm teaching my sky reader course. So it can be my opening to more prosperity through teaching that course. Maybe I'll upsell my students to something else halfway through the course. I don't know. But anyway, it's the prosperity transit for us Aquariuses as well. All right. Anything more to say? I don't think so. Let's go on and keep talking about big stories, and then we'll micro niche down to the day to day. One big story of the month is Mars moving on the 20th of May out of Cancer, where he's been in debility, swimming through the Cancerian waters of work. Like, I'm an Aquarius rising. I've had Mars in my work house now for, almost, well, my brain's not going to tell you when he got in there, but it's a 6 weeks to 8 week transit, and he's leaving May 20th. So you do the math, guys, like all of April, basically. And I'm like highly unmotivated to work, right? So Mars is like motivation in the house of his joy, but he's in Cancer. So you really are working, but don't really want to work. And I think part of my problem is I got a soulmate with me. And I'm like, oh man, I'd rather just hang out and drink wine and coffee than do my work. So every one of us Aquariuses are working, Mars in the house of joy, and we're doing the work, and this happens every year, but we're not very motivated when this Mars transit happens, just as a principle, because Mars is in more of a emotional watery place. And he's like totally like, just doesn't have his, mojo going. So Mars going through here is finally ending. And also when you have health problems and you're trying to deal with health issues, or even trying to get rid of addictions, like, because addictions is 6-12 axis, Mars is trying his best, but he's got no willpower. He's in water, he's diluted, he's like emo. So it's been like a path, like it's almost over, hallelujah. There's other things he does there that are very positive though. I mean, it's really, really good for creating alliances in your work with, other people. It's really good for connecting to, a deeper level of motivation that sparks something from your more emotional nature than from your brain and your cerebral, mind that just thinks it knows what it wants, that kind of stuff. Then the next thing that's happening is that he moves on the 20th of May into Leo, and that will be about significant marriage partnerships, business partnerships, and client audience others. Now, Mars can eliminate. So like for me as an astrologer, Mars can eliminate clients. Well, will I eliminate clients? What am I going to do? Shoot them down? No, of course not. Just means he'll pull back and say, well, maybe we're not going to see as many people as we normally do. Now, that's already true for me. In my practice, I'm already weaning off of so many clients. So he may winnow and wean down even further. I may end up going like some astrologers only repeat clients. You know what I mean? Like if you've seen me before, you can come back, but I don't have room for taking on new people. I mean, things like that happen in any Mars transit to the 7th. You have clients or customers in your life. He also can bring a more of a, there's 2 ways this can work, negative and positive. Mars here can be like ambitiously motivational and bringing powerful motivational people to you to ally with you. But on the other hand, it can be your significant other, long-term monogamous relationship partner going through a difficult time or feeling combative, because Mars is going to be not about you. You're not combative. You're not Mars in the 7th house. This is other people. Other people can be gnarly and conflictual at you during this transit. That's the downside. It does last about 6 weeks, so you got to grin and bear it, right? I said May 20th to like July the 10th. The other thing is that this is legal contracts or negotiations, and Mars here is, it could be good, but it can also be challenging too, because Mars is going to be combative. So if you had to work out a legal agreement or a legal situation, there's like a conflictual quality to that time frame. There's some good news though. Venus will be catching up with him and joining him, and that will sweeten it. We call it a bonification, basically. And so Venus has more power over the situation to support the more harmonious outcomes from this. And so when Venus enters into the 7th house and joins Mars, there's a lot more flow and less combat. And Venus will soften it up when she gets here around June the 5th. So then therefore, May 20th to June the 5th, watch for blowouts with clients, with business partners, with customers, with marriage type partners. There could be mortal combat going on here. Venus will soften it all and fix it when she gets there. Oh, June the 5th. In the meantime, duck, just duck. All right, you could, and some people may cut out, like long-term clients or friendships may just like, we're done, I'm done with you, we're ending, we're severing, we're snipping. What can you do? You can't control other people. Okay, lastly, when Venus does join him, although this is going to be in your June forecast, Venus and Mars in the 7th house is really quite a lovely combination for so many things to do with partnerships, alliances, and agreements and a kind of a hot tango in the house of marriage. So it can bring new relationships into your life, or existing ones can really kick up a new level of commitment, something like that. Moving into the micronutia of the month ahead. One, the beginning of the month, Mercury will be in the heart of the sun. This cazimi is happening at 11 degrees of Taurus. If you're 11 degree Aquarius rising near that sun or moon, you really feel it. This cazimi can bring an insight, a download, or a special event to do with property, land, and real estate, May 1st and 2nd. Downloads like ideas, new revelations, new perceptions, things like that. And Mercury here in Taurus could be also an asset thing to do with real estate, property, but sometimes automobiles. I know I don't explain why, but you could have a chance to buy a new car, get a new car, sell a car, things like that. But the cazimi brings you the aha, the download. And when a week or two passes and Mercury becomes visible, then again, commerce, real estate, property, car, home, things are activated. At the same time of the May 1st, 2nd cazimi, Mars sextiles Uranus, giving you some unexpected surprises to do with home, real estate, property, cars, and that is connected to Mars in the 6th house. That's about often rentals. So you have a new rental opportunity or something coming through May 1st or 2nd to rent out or to rent a property. Very possible. If you're looking for a new relationship and you want to start dating someone, then May 1st and 2nd can be dating somebody close to home. May 4th and the 5th, Venus will sextile Jupiter. This is so positive, so sweet, very opportune time in the sky. Jupiter is at the last degrees of Aries, and Venus is at the last degrees of Gemini. So she's still in Gemini and she hasn't moved to Cancer. So 5th house is your children, your romantic lover, your sexual partner, your business enterprise, fertility and pregnancy, those sorts of stories. Venus is in a fertility transit. So if you're a Gemini, if you're an Aquarius rising and you don't want to be pregnant, please be careful because Venus is here, as I said, in Gemini, and she will have been there. Let me think about the dates. Sometime early April. I think it's April 3rd. Yeah, starting April 3rd through to May 7th. So that's a fertility transit for fertile Aquarians or their partners. But of course, you can make baby projects, new ideas, etc. during that transit. It's coming to an end. And she could have enhanced your sex life as well. So she's going to come out of that sex life story, but she's finishing with a luscious touch up with Jupiter. So Jupiter is sitting at the end degrees of your 3rd house of travel. So one way that can look May 4th and 5th is taking a trip, planning a trip, or organizing a leisure trip or a fun trip with a romantic partner. That's what that looks like. And it looks very auspicious. But just be careful. Square to Neptune. Don't overdo it financially. Don't have rose-colored glasses. We're going to stay at the Taj Mahal and then later on regret it, because the square to Neptune means you may not see the financials of it clearly. So be cautious around that trip, not like busting your budget way out. It looks like a trip. The only other way to read it is some kind of connection to a sibling story going on in your sky, and travel with or to or because of a sibling, aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, or nephew. Or lastly, learning something that you really want to learn that you have a natural talent at, and signing up for the course or something, May 4th and 5th. On this 5th, there's a solar eclipse we've been talking about forever, and it's here finally, the last eclipse of 3 in Scorpio. This is a chance to let go, let God, surrender, release a career path that's no longer true for you. The eclipse is at almost 15 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. Aquarius risings like me near the 15th degree mark of ascendant or sun moon, give or take 5 degrees on either side. This is kind of the death throes of some career path. Something is coming to an end, it's completing itself, you're moving on to something new. I'll still be an astrologer, guys, but there's other things I want to do in life besides astrology. So all of Aquarius know there's something leaking out of the career and reputation zone, letting go, let God, find something new, it's all good. And go back to October 25th last year, there was a new moon eclipse in the 10th house of career and reputation, what things were beginning to incite some change then, a new beginning, but this is more definitive, like an ending is trying to happen. The eclipse of May the 5th will last until this October. It's not going to be you have the ending on the day of the eclipse, but by the end of October this fall, a lot of you will have moved on from some aspect of your career, if not your entire career itself. On May the 9th and the 10th, the sun will join with Uranus. This is exciting energy at 18 degrees. 18 degrees is where sun and Uranus are co-joining in your home, property, and real estate. This could be very exciting news and information and developments. It's hard to say what it is because it's Uranus. It's a surprise, Jack in the Box on the 9th and 10th of the month. There's a highly intense energy at the 18th degree that has been activated over and over again in your sky during the eclipse cycle and during the big boom, I said, as I named it. So it's probably to do with where you're going to nest or home yourself. May 9th and 10th, some activation around that. We'll see what that looks like. On May 10th to the 13th, you have a mini grand trine in the sky that's very lucky. It's going to connect to real estate, property, and home. It's going to be Mercury still retrograde, but sextiling Saturn and Venus. And Venus is in a trine to Saturn that creates a triangle that's very auspicious. So Mercury, home, property, land, and real estate. Saturn, things to do in your chart at this time with money and work and earnings and possessions. And finally, Venus, which is talking to you from the house of debts, rentals, property, pets, and things like that. So I don't know. It's really, sometimes this Venus placement lends itself to success with mortgages. So for some of you, it could be a refinance. It could be a new home, going back to an old home, renting a home, extending an existing lease, things like that. May the 10th to the 13th. If you want a pet, this is a super great time to get one. May 10th to the 13th. If you want to eliminate debt, same thing, super great time to do it. Auspicious, super lucky energy in that triangle during that window of time. Then later on May 14th to the 16th, there's an alchemical mix. There's quite spiritual warrior, magical, alchemical stuff, actions that are divinely inspired around that time, 14th to the 16th. That's Mars in Cancer, water, sex, trining, Piscean, watery Neptune. It's definitely about money for you because Neptune's in your earnings and possessions house. And then Mars is driving forward in your work house. So it's a work money glow up, basically coming from the 14th to the 16th, taking this divinely inspired action regarding work, basically. Then later on, there's some really difficult sky ahead. We all feel it, every sign. The 14th and 21st is really hard energy for all of us. That's Jupiter squaring Pluto to start out, starting as early as the 14th, very critically impacting and more intensely on the 18th. Now, Pluto is in Aquarius for the first time in 248 years. And so this is a new energy. This is the house of you. You are the Aquarians. You're holding for it to become more Plutonian, more powerful, more transformational, more intense in this lifetime. And at the time of this, you are Pluto, you are powerful, you are the one holding all the cards, and you're squaring off with Jupiter, which can be an authority figure or a leader or a teacher, and the squaring off of Jupiter in the 4th house of real estate, property, and home, and you and what you want and what your control for and agenda is. Now, even though that tension is allowing you to dominate or have more power, perhaps, it's still a lot of tension. So look for the 14th to the 21st. You might have to really push for something you want. Good news is Jupiter's auspicious and lucky. He's sitting with the North Node, expanding his luck. I think you can get what you want in whatever this is, especially because of that North Node connection to Jupiter. And then what happens after, though, is right after that, Mars moves into Leo. That's going to happen on the 20th, 19th, 20th, depending on where you live. And then Mars in Leo, the 20th to the 21st, 22nd, is creating a T-square. Ooh. Well, legal contracts, deals, and negotiations can go really hard ass, and they may be very difficult. This can involve legacy wealth, real estate, property, mortgages, land. This can involve you trying to dominate and win the day. Mars is combating you from the house of other. So, I mean, if you're buying a property, selling a property, this is obviously really intense negotiations around the legal contracts and the agreements you're trying to form, especially with the lawyer Athena on that Mars. Eek. It could be for some of you a disagreement with a business or marriage partner about property, home, land, real estate matters, but it's an intensity that's pretty heightened. It doesn't last that long, you know, but like I'd say like May the 19th to the 23rd even, it's best to really be cautious around difficult disagreements with significant other people, especially if it involves legal matters. I want to sit with this. Mercury rules the house of inheritance. Legacy wealth for you is involved. Again, there could be some kind of dispute around inheritances or legalese around those things. So again, be cautious not to get overwhelmed basically by this temporary time of conflict. Okay, then it's going to be done. So you have to, it won't last, right? 14th to the 23rd, and then you get out of that intensity. There's a new moon in Taurus, new home, new beginnings at home, new home over the 6 months that follow at the 28th degree. If your ascendant is 28 degrees of Aquarius, or in the zone, let's go 23 to 29, you're going to really, really feel it, but it's positive. New beginnings, fresh starts. Where you live is changing. A lot of you will have probably a new home, but not all of you. Again, are you a late degree ascendant Aquarius? Then some of you have a new home in the 6 months that follow the new moon at the end of Taurus. It happens on, sorry, did I tell you the date? The 19th, 20th of the month. Finishing up the month, there's a Venus sextile Uranus, May 25, 26, unexpected money and love surprises that are positive. Now, Uranus is in the real estate house, so money in real estate, money in property, money in things that you're doing from home. Venus in the house of negotiations of things to do with tenancies, property, real estate, pets. Because Mercury's in your 4th house, some of this can jig up mortgages and things like that in a positive way as well. Finances, refinances, etc. May 25th, 26th. Even potentially a stock investment paying off, but things look really sweet and positive and surprising. If you're single and you're looking for love, this is unexpected opportunity to date somebody close to home, and it's surprisingly positive. You're really delighted with what's going on around the 25th, 26th. And last, at the end of the month, Sun squares Saturn, first time Sun squares Saturn in 30 years in the sign of Pisces where the Saturn's sitting. This is the first time you experience this energy, but you'll be getting it for 3 years. A Sun is a father figure or authority figure, dueling with Saturn, but the Sun has moved into Gemini. So it could be somebody who's connected to your independent business enterprise, or one of your children, if they're going to be very bossy around things, and a solar figure anyway in the house of children, romance, and independent business enterprise, squaring Saturn in the house of money. These are both money houses, so there could be some money tension. I mean, Saturn is like, let's conserve our resources, and the Sun is like, let's spend it joyfully in the 5th house of pleasure. So there's a tension at the end of the month around spending, basically. Okay, what do you want to spend your money on? And who is the one who's like maybe pushing against the conservative approach that you would take right now, as Saturn is conservatively conserving your resources, all right? So that's just a bit of sky tension for 2 days, the 28th, 29th of the month. That kind of thing, not a big deal really. Or your child wants money from you and you're like, no, I don't, I'm saving my money. You're not going to get any of my money on the 28th and 29th. Thanks for listening to this report, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Please like and subscribe and check in with me, and you'll learn a lot about astrology if you follow my channel, because I tend to teach as I forecast. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you hopefully in another video.